My heart always warms up on that last line of this gospel. Where two or three are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. So some of ministry is administrative. So like parish council, finance council, and you're thinking, what's the ministry in this? Where's my spiritual food? But where two or three are gathered, there I am. That we know that Jesus is present, even in the practical things of life. The practical things of raising children. The practical things of caring for parents and older relatives. The practical things of stepping in when there's illness or need. And that's what we get to celebrate today, that Jesus is in the middle of the practical needs of our life. We celebrate this Father Michael D. McGivney, who was a parish priest in New Haven, Connecticut. And in 1882, he reached a crisis point because the parishioners of his parish downtown in New Haven, St. Mary's, had so much death of the men. And they had an overflowing need in the parish to take care of the widows and the children. And if we have to take our mind back to 1882, the Catholics that he was serving, there were immigrants. Irish and Italian, mostly. And because of their immigrant status, just like when we see immigrants now, they were working manually. And they were working in terrible situations in the factories, this industrial plant that was in the 1880s America. And the opportunity for them, because of their, not speaking like the rest of America at the time, because of their very religious practices, that they weren't able to gain an economic foothold as easily as others. And they were discriminated against. And that hard work in those factories, long before there was any care about the environment, about the working conditions, was causing a lot of death. Also the lifestyle, right, of those early people and distraught. So alcoholism was high because of all the pressure. Smoking was considered healthy at the time. All of those things led to people not living long and leaving behind these families in great need. And Father McGivney pulled together the men of his parish and started the Knights of Columbus, where at the very center of it is this practical need to take care of widows and children. In 1882 in Connecticut, Catholics were not invited to purchase life insurance by any of the licensed state carriers. The same was true for New York and the rest of the East Coast. In the 1880s, the Catholics were looked down upon in many ways. You know, in that same period, North Carolina was still trying to pass legislations for Catholics to own property here. So we have to put ourselves in that context of the real discrimination. So at the center of the Knights of Columbus is an insurance company. They formed their own so that they could then now take care of our people. And that has grown into the largest Catholic service fraternity in the world. And it's blessed. And in 1997, this Catholic priest who started it all, they did the paperwork from the Archdiocese of Hartford and started his cause for sainthood. In 2008, he was named Blessed. Yay. Right? And a servant of God. And so now he stands ready. He needs one more miracle before becoming a saint. In 2020, he was canonized along this process, but now he still waits one more miracle to be verified. And isn't that a great thing? And this model of the Knights that he started in 1882 has now been taken to other countries in the world. And each year we're happy to report of it growing. So that same purpose of that we take care of our families and we do it in service. I should always preach about it, every Catholic community, about the Knights, because sometimes people see them as a different group than the parish. They're not. They're just members of the parish who are also joined with the Knights. It's just like the people who are in intercessory prayer group here from the parish are joined in that group. They are first and foremost family, Catholic, and then they're a Knight. Their meetings are held for them to support one another, to support the mission, but always being more supporting of their family, their faith, and then their community. The Knights is an auxiliary type of thing for everybody, but it's so powerful. I was fortunate because my priest at college, Father Bill Lafrata, a little Italian guy, and we had a great campus ministry at James Madison University. And my sophomore year, he came to me, he said, "Chris, I need you to help me because we need more guys at college to go on the Cursillos, the retreats." And if you've ever been to a college campus, women are smarter than men. So they often join the activities of the church first. There's a more spiritual awakening, I think, always in women. You're closer to life, and I think that always flows over to a religious practice, intuition, and spiritual life. Father Bill wanted more men to go on the Cursillos. Who's been to a Cursillo type retreat before? So those who have been know how powerful those things are, the real transformation that can happen. He said, we'll start a Knights of Columbus College Council. That way there'll be a group of guys that meets at least once a month, has a beer or goes bowling or something, and we can pull from them to send them on retreat. That was his only purpose in starting the council. So we could get guys to come, cook the barbecues, but send them on retreat for that transformation. So I helped him with that, became the Charter Grand Knight. And because of that, I was invited to go with the rest of the college Grand Knights to New Haven. I was invited to go twice, in 87 and 88. And I was also invited to come there when Mother Teresa visited the Knights of Columbus headquarters in New Haven. So I was a young junior in college. And we were invited, they brought in the college guys' age, because most of the Knights look like these guys. They're a little older. But the college guys that were invited, we were invited to come in and said, all right, we're going to be at the chapel right there in their beautiful headquarters. It's 23 stories tall in New Haven, the Knights building. And so what do? They said, okay, y'all stand over there in the back and don't say anything. Mother Teresa will come in. Virgil Deccan was the Supreme Knight at the time, and he will talk with her at the altar. It won't be very long, and then she'll leave. And we were hoping that she would just be quiet. Mother Teresa will say something. And we didn't know why she was coming. I didn't know. They didn't share with me why. We were there. Security was there. The chapel was full. We were in the back corner. Mother Teresa walks in with the Virgil Deccan, then comes to the altar. He signed something and gave it to her. They put it in an envelope. She looked at all of us and held it up and said, goodbye, and left. That was it. There was no speech. We were kind of, wow, but you could feel something about her. She's a little lady, little. And this holiness just light came in, and we were just in awe. And it was perfectly quiet. She said, thank you, smiled, and walked out. And I said, what was in the envelope? They said, the check. She came to pick up some money that she needed for her order and work. And they said she came just about every year. Anytime she came to America, she called them and said, I'm coming by. And if they didn't have her on the budget, they put her in the budget. And I thought, what a great tribute. They didn't require her to speak. They knew she was holy and had her work to do. She was there to help her order, and they let that happen. And that's the quiet service example that Knights really try to live out. I'm honored to be the Associate State Chaplain for the Knights to represent the Raleigh Diocese. There's another one for Charlotte, and then a State Chaplain who's a retired priest in Cleveland. I get to go to their meetings and be in fellowship with them. The Knights Council here is always supportive of everything the parish does. They meet with me each year and ask, what more can we do, Father, for the parish? That's good things to hear in my ears always. So I'll ask them to stand so we can recognize them on this their day for Father McGivney. Please stand if you're in the Knights of Columbus.